What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Absolutely Podcast. Today, I have a great episode in store for you. And let me just say, it is going to be very informative and probably eye opening for a lot of the ladies that are on here today, or even men. If you're on here, hello, what's up? I am really excited to educate you all on reverse dieting. And if you have been following me for a while or you're even new to my page, you probably have seen a lot of my posts around reverse dieting, and that's something that we actually specialize in when it comes to fitness and nutrition coaching here at Purpose Athletics. Is most of our women go through a reverse diet at some point during their coaching journey. And it was honestly how I fell in love with fitness as well, when I realized that I don't need to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight. I can eat super high calorie and still make the progress I want. And reverse dieting is a puzzle piece of that. So we're going to be doing a deep dive today on reverse dieting. Who should reverse diet, how to reverse diet, signs you need a reverse diet. And I'm even going to be giving a reverse dieting assessment away at the end of the podcast. So if you don't make it to the end, you can still click the link below and you can get access to the reverse dieting assessment. But if you make it to the end of the podcast, it'll probably make a little bit more sense on what that is. So I'm really excited. Let's dive into, though, first a little week recap slash like what's in store for this next week, because we have a really exciting week ahead. So I guess let's like kind of back up a little bit to last week. I got to pull my notes up because I wouldn't say it was a crazy week. I would say it was very productive. I got a lot of things done last week and a lot of fun things for Purpose Athletics and for like the couple next months ahead, which was awesome. However, I am down bad right now with a injury to my thumb. And I think it was from golf, which I'm laughing that, like, how did I literally get a golf injury? I like play golf once and I get a golf. Actually, I've been playing it a lot lately, so that's probably why. But my finger started hurting like probably like 2 weeks ago at this point, and it just started like kind of hurting. I thought it was just like a hangnail or something like that, and just like progressively got worse to the point where it was like throbbing in pain. And it's like such a small area. I don't even have a band-aid on it right now. It really doesn't even look that bad right now, but it's such a small area that I was like, there is no way I'm going to the doctor for this. That is absolutely just insanity. But I really hope someone relates to me on this. I am a Googler. I Google symptoms, I Google things going on. I Google and it ruins my life. If you have a health symptom, just do yourself a favor and don't Google it. Don't be like me. I have always been a Googler. Like me, my family, my mom, we all laugh super hard about like my search history is unhinged. Like if there was one thing I don't want leaked, like leak my camera roll. I don't care. Don't leak my Google search history. That shit's embarrassing. So, anyways, I Googled it and I self-diagnosed myself, and I can't even pronounce the term, so I'm not going to say it out loud. It's like something, it's like a fingernail injury, basically like a cuticle injury. And it was basically saying that like you need to get it checked out by a doctor. And it kept like weighing on me. Also, I was in a lot of pain. So, anyways, I go to the doctor, long story short. I put in my form like what I think I have, and the doctor walks in and he goes, wow, like he literally thought I was so educated that I knew I self-diagnosed myself perfectly to a T. And this doctor was very impressed. He was like, that's exactly what you have. It's from golf. You have it, do whatever. He prescribed me some antibiotics, which I literally, side note, hate being on antibiotics. I know that they are life-saving and I need to be on them right now, but like as a gut health girly, I try everything in my power to not be on antibiotics, but it is like basically infected and whatever. So, anyways, we're on the up and up with that, but your girl did not get to play golf or do anything like fun this weekend because of my stupid thumb injury. And it was so painful. It's crazy that like just this tiny little area can be so just painful. So you guys are probably tired of me talking about my little tiny thumb injury, but it was a event in my life last week. I properly diagnosed myself. My Googling went to good use last week, and now we are on the up and up, at least I hope. And yeah, I'm just hoping it's gone because this weekend, my assistant coach is coming and we are going to Sedona, which is super exciting. If you guys haven't seen what Sedona looks like or like heard of it before, it's basically this little like magical town in northern Arizona with Red Rock. There's hikes, there's a cute little like town with like wineries and little like rock shops. I'm really explaining this super well. But basically, it's a cute little town, and I have never been, and it's been on my bucket list since moving to Arizona. And honestly, I don't know why I just haven't just made a trip out of it. Literally, you can do a day trip if you live in Phoenix. It's like an hour and 45 minutes away from Phoenix. And I just haven't really had a reason to go or like someone to go with. So I thought that Coach Cassie would be the perfect person to bring along with me to Sedona. So we're doing a little purpose athletics retreat in Sedona, which will be super fun. And she's coming a Wednesday. So I'm trying to front load my whole week, get all my podcasts and all that stuff done and recorded and stuff so we can go to Sedona and have a relaxing girls' weekend. Think of new ideas for our clients, brainstorm for Purpose Athletics, and just have like a rejuvenating weekend in nature. I am so excited. I'm literally craving it. Also, too, just side note, the weather here is amazing. I think I talk about the weather on every Absolutely podcast, but it's because it's important, okay? Scottsdale right now is reminding me of why I moved here. It's like 85 degrees. I went to the pool all day yesterday. I am thriving. We're going to thrive in Sedona this weekend. My thumb's going to be healed. We're going to be able to do all the things. There's going to be no barriers, and it's going to be awesome. So I am very excited. I relaxed this past weekend. My social battery is filled to the very top, and I am ready to have an amazing week. So that is my life update. I will update you next podcast on how like the retreat went and everything like that. Me and Cassie, I'm going to make it a point to film a podcast with her because I think it'd be so much fun to do like maybe like a tipsy Q&A or like something like that. So keep on the lookout for that. That's probably going to be next episode if we do film that, but that's definitely on my priority list for this weekend as well. So anyways, that is the little life update. We're already 7 minutes into this podcast episode, and you're probably like, I did not come here to listen about your life. I came here to listen about reverse dieting. So let's jump into the reverse dieting side of things. So reverse dieting, like I said, was one of the main reasons I fell in love with fitness and even just like started my company in the first place. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, and if you haven't listened to my whole fitness journey episode 2 is my fitness journey. So I talked all about how I got to this point, and a big part of that episode, and just a big part that I'm going to tell you about today, was reverse dieting. And basically what reverse dieting is in a nutshell, is slowly but surely increasing your calories to get it to a point where you're at maintenance calories. So, backing it up, I used to be the girl that was under eating chronically and had no idea. I thought that's what I needed to do to see the progress I wanted. I'm talking, I was eating 12 to 1500 calories when my body should be eating anywhere between like 2200 to 2500 calories given like my height, weight, activity level. So, obviously, we were dramatically under eating for a long period of time. And when you do that, your metabolism down regulates. In order, though, to up regulate it, you have to do a reverse diet. I don't recommend just going from eating 1200 calories for years to then eating 2200 calories. You're probably going to put on unnecessary body fat. Whereas if you do a strategic reverse diet, you're going to eliminate that unnecessary body fat gain, and you're going to be able to have a rock solid, awesome metabolism, but it does take strategy to get there. So I'm going to be breaking down basically reverse dieting as a whole, because I know it can be a little bit confusing to people. At least it was at the beginning of my fitness journey. And when I started this, I hired a coach to help me out through this because I literally had no clue what I was doing. And reverse dieting can be something a little bit scary to do on your own, because especially when you've been under eating and eating less food for a long time, like eating more food is kind of a shock, and it's a little bit scary because with me, I was taught that you need to eat less calories to see the progress you want. And so now having this concept of eating more calories to make the progress, it's just this weird feeling. But then I actually started seeing results, feeling better. So we're going to be just breaking down everything when it comes to reverse diet. And I'm definitely jumping ahead of myself. So let's just get right into things. So I already kind of gave the definition of what a reverse diet is, and I'm pulling up all my notes because there's a ton of stuff when it comes to reverse dieting that I do not want to forget. But basically, slowly and strategically increasing your calories over time until you reach maintenance calories is the definition of reverse dieting. Reverse dieting, the reason why you want to do it is that you avoid I can't talk apparently, and avoid any unnecessary fat gain. You let your metabolism adjust over time. You increase your maintenance calories and it improves your overall health. So, a lot of women will do this and they will also see improvement in their metabolism, their digestion, their energy, their libido. You see it not just in your physical progress, but also in how you feel overall, which is awesome. And you eat more calories by the end of your reverse diet. You should be able to eat more calories and maintain the weight you're at now, if not lose some weight. So let's talk about first who needs a reverse diet. And I'm actually going to include, like I said in the beginning, a resource on like an assessment for reverse diet to see if like you need one specifically. So you can click on that link in the description if you want to kind of get like a more in-depth evaluation of you. But who needs a reverse diet? Just kind of like overarching concept. If you have been chronically under eating unintentionally or intentionally, you will probably need a reverse diet. And chronically under eating doesn't mean you have to be eating like 500 calories or 800 calories. Like this could even be like 1800 calories if your body usually requires 2500 to maintain. That would be considered under eating for a long time because your metabolism has kind of down regulated. Also, if you're experiencing any symptoms of metabolic adaptation, so for instance, if you gain weight at 1500 calories, that's probably not normal. You probably have experienced some sort of metabolic adaptation. And when I say metabolic adaptation, I don't want to like confuse everyone with this, but basically what it is if you eat under your maintenance calories for long enough, your body is going to start to down regulate your metabolism. The reason it does this is because think about in the olden days when there was a famine, or, if we didn't have food for a long period of time, your body would want to conserve energy. So what it would do is it would slow down the metabolism. Your body is just trying to keep you alive. It is just trying to keep you on this earth and keep you healthy. So the reason your body's metabolism down regulates when you undereat is to adjust for those periods of famine. So you can't blame your body for this. This is a normal thing. But just like your body can adapt down, it can also adapt up. So that is what we're doing with the reverse diet, is that we're getting it to adapt back up to a healthy amount of maintenance calories. The third scenario on when you would need a reverse diet is if you've reached your fat loss goal and you want to break from dieting and you also want to maintain your results. A lot of women, they will lose the fat just to gain it back. And a lot of times it's because they didn't do the fat loss phase properly, or they didn't do a reverse diet to actually get their metabolism back up regulated to a point where they can live life comfortably and not feel like they need to eat those deficit calories for the rest of their life. So that's kind of the overarching on who needs a reverse diet. Now let's talk about like a little like checklist or maybe symptoms you might be experiencing with maybe needing a reverse diet. So a lot of women that come to us are struggling with having a poor relationship with food, low energy, bad recovery, moodiness, brain fog, hungry constantly, loss of appetite. For me, I was so low energy. I literally couldn't make it throughout the whole day without taking a nap. I would also have like 5 cups of coffee. So just like draining my adrenals, hiring my cortisol, all the things. I was also super hungry all of the time. I was constantly thinking about food. My relationship with food was super poor. I felt like I had to just like eat the least amount as possible to see progress. My brain was foggy. I was like grumpy, poor sleep. If you are experiencing these things, it literally might be because you're not eating enough food. And most women don't even consider that because they think, oh, I'm eating enough, when in reality they aren't. And so that's why they're experiencing a lot of these negative things. And obviously these things are more so like biofeedback things of how you feel, but also results wise, not being able to lose body fat, not able to build muscle or get toned, feeling like inflamed. Those are all symptoms as well that you need a reverse diet, because your body is simply not responding to how it should be because you're under eating and under fueling. So let's talk about some expectations with the reverse diet, because I talk to a lot of women that are scared to eat more food, understandably so. You've seen on the magazines for years these crazy diets and these things that they're like, eat 1200 calories to lose weight, eat this super restrictive meal plan to see the progress you want. And those things have literally been ingrained in our brains. So when they are told, hey, let's eat more food, like with a program with ours to see the progress you want, the immediate response is, how? Like, because it's scary. So let's talk about what to expect when it comes to a reverse diet, because a lot of times this will minimize any fear from a reverse diet. Because honestly, for most women, reverse dieting, if you've been under eating, is the best thing you can do to see the progress that you want and to get the sustainable results that you're looking for as far as fat loss and muscle tone goes. So the number one thing to expect with a reverse diet is that it is not to lose weight. Yes, reverse dieting sometimes causes weight loss in people. And we have worked with 200 clients, 200 plus clients, and we've seen three camps of people with this. So, the number one camp with people is that some people lose weight in the process. I was one person that lost around like 10 pounds in my reverse diet. Great. That isn't though the whole purpose of doing a reverse diet. The purpose of a reverse diet is to get you back to maintenance calories. But what we see sometimes happens is that when you start to increase your calories, your body, your stress reduces. You get less inflamed. You actually start making progress in the gym. You start actually burning more calories because you're eating more food, you're building more muscle, and that can cause some fat loss, which is great. But it's not something that has to happen to mean that you have a successful reverse diet, and something that you shouldn't necessarily expect in a reverse diet. I will say that more times than not, clients do lose a little bit of weight with a reverse diet, but not everyone. It really depends on your body, how long you've been in a reverse diet, how much stress and inflammation you have, how your body just responds overall. The next kind of one is to experience body recomposition. So maybe you're like the same weight on the scale, but your body looks completely different. I love these transformations when clients start to eat more food and maybe they're the same on the scale, but you compare their progress photos and they look wildly different. I'm like thinking of one client in particular right now that started eating more food and just started putting on this amazing muscle tone, losing body fat. So obviously when you gain muscle and lose body fat, the scale might not like show that, but your pictures show that, your clothes show that, your measurements show that, right? So that's something that a lot of clients do experience, because maybe their body's been wanting to build muscle, they just don't have the fuel to do so. So when they start actually eating more food, their body can put on that muscle tone, they look way better, they feel way better, and they experience that kind of like body recomposition that we all know and love. The third kind of thing that could happen is that they gain some healthy body weight. Like, think about if someone's been in a chronic deficit for a long period of time. I always like to think of like bodybuilding shows or, things that you are in like a very extreme deficit and your body literally needs to put on healthy body fat to survive. That would be the third case scenario. Like, I'm talking though, if someone's like maybe lost their cycle or they are experiencing extremely extreme, like body fat loss from like being in a deficit, that could be a symptom of that. But I would say more times than not, we don't see that here as much. Yes, you might put on a little bit, but it's usually not like body fat. It's usually like just eating more food and putting on some muscle and stuff like that, just from what I've seen. And that's kind of the demographic of clients that we work with specifically. Some other expectations with a reverse diet is that your weight is probably going to spike a little bit when you do an increase of food. This is totally normal. If you think about it, you're literally putting more food in your body, which means more food in your stomach to digest, more food to literally just have in your body overall, more glycogen from the carbs, then it'll level out. So what we see is that typically when you increase your food, your weight will go up for a little bit and then it'll level out again, go up a little bit, level out again. And that is totally normal, but it can be something that people freak out with of like, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight. You're not gaining weight. You're just eating more food. You have more food in your stomach. And that's the end of the story with that. And then the time of the reverse diet depends on the start point and consistency of yourself. So I get asked a lot, like, how long should a reverse diet take? What should I expect out of that? And really, it takes as long as your body needs it to. Everyone responds so differently when it comes to a reverse diet. Some people can get it done within a couple of months. Some people can get it's a little bit longer, like 6 months. And it really depends on your metabolism and how your body responds. Also, too, if you start out and you're only like 300 calories away from your maintenance calories, that reverse diet is going to go a lot quicker. Whereas if you come with us and you're 1,000 calories under where you need to be, that's going to take longer. Also, too, just adherence and consistency. The more consistent you can be during a reverse diet, the easier, more seamless, and just quicker it's going to be overall. So, those are the main things to expect when it comes to a reverse diet. Now let's talk about the amazing benefits of a reverse diet. So hopefully I haven't scared you off with kind of the expectations and kind of what it is. Now let's talk about all the amazing things that can happen with a reverse diet. Number one, you will feel stronger and better in the gym. Who doesn't want that? I am going through a reverse diet myself right now. And let me just tell you, every single time I increase my food, I feel stronger, I feel more energized, and I feel better in the gym. You will find yourself lifting heavier weights, you'll find yourself doing more reps, and you'll just find yourself having more energy and more motivation when it comes to working out because you have more food in your system and just more energy to burn through. And this is such a good feeling when it comes to your workouts. I guarantee that eating more food, if you've been under eating for a long period of time, is going to feel so good for your workouts and training, and it will directly impact that. Now, the next thing is obviously you're going to be able to grow muscle quicker. You're not going to become a bodybuilder in a week, okay? That's going to still take time. But what you will find is that your muscles will just look a lot like leaner and toned because your body is actually able to fill out and it's not going to be as like inflamed. You're going to just feel a lot better. And when you have more food in your system, your body's going to actually properly be able to build muscle. So you're going to end up feeling tighter and just better overall because you are growing muscle, and it's easier to grow muscle when you are eating enough food. The next thing that's going to be a positive out of this is you're going to optimize biofeedback. So, right now, if you are struggling with your sleep, energy, stress, libido, digestion, hunger, you are probably not, I'm not saying you're probably under eating, but that could be something that you need to work on, is eating more food. And what we find is that when clients start eating more food in reverse diet, their sleep improves. They have more energy. Their stress levels lower because they're eating enough for their body to psychologically feel safe. Their digestion improves because they're actually able to eat proper amounts of food. They're not getting bloated as easy because their body is actually like in a parasympathetic state and they aren't constantly worried about where their next meal is going to be coming from. Their hunger levels are going to be lower. They're going to have a better relationship with food. That's my next one. Having a better relationship with food and being able to eat more foods because you have more calories you can eat, and your body just feels so much more peaceful when it's at a spot where you're eating more food and you're actually properly fueling your body. And that is so beautiful for me. Another benefit of this is that you'll be able to eat more food and maintain your weight, which is lovely. I remember when I reverse dieted, so I started at 1,200 calories, and my first reverse diet, I reverse dieted to around 2,200 calories. I remember being at 2,200 calories and maintaining my weight, eating all the foods I loved, and being like, this is so amazing. I need to share this with other people. And that's literally a reason why I'm here. And when you can maintain your weight and eat more food, you are going to feel so great from the inside out because you're going to feel so psychologically relieved. Your biofeedback's going to be improved, and you're actually going to start to be able to make progress, which will give you that peace of mind of like, hey, things are going right. Another benefit of reverse diet is obviously improving your metabolism. Eat more, feel better. We love that. It's also going to aid in recovery. So right now, if you get super sore or you feel like you're never like truly feeling energized or recovered after your workouts, that could also be a sign that you are under eating and need a reverse diet. So you'll probably be sore less, which is awesome. We love that. It'll also help your hormonal health as well. So when we undereat, our hormones are also damaged and downregulated, which you don't want. So when we eat actually properly amounts of food, your hormones are going to have like a safe space to actually regenerate and to have healthy hormones, which if you're a woman or if you're a man, hormones are literally control everything in your body. So if we don't actually eat enough food, you're not going to give your body a fighting chance to have healthy hormones. So this is where this all starts, is let's actually establish a healthy metabolism and eat enough food, because what you're putting into your body is how your body is going to respond and how your body is going to perform on a regular basis. So if we are under eating, your hormones are literally not going to get a chance to recover and be at the optimal state that they need to be. So healthy hormones are built in a reverse diet and maintenance phase. So the end goal of a reverse diet is to increase your calories to maintenance. Most of our women that we work with, their maintenance is anywhere between 1900 and 2500 calories. This depends on a person's height, weight, activity level, and just overall like how they're responding. It's a window when it comes to maintenance. It's not like, hey, you're going to be this exact amount. It's probably going to be a little bit, some weeks, a little bit less, some weeks a little bit more, but the right coach and the right guidance will get you to a point where you're maintaining your calories at the highest amount you can possibly be without putting on body fat. You also want to stabilize your weight anywhere between like a 2 to 5 pound stabilization. This is where a lot of people get super nervous because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like 1 pound up. That's fine. If I consider maintenance anywhere between fluctuating 2 to 5 pounds ish, because 5 pounds could look like having some pizza the night before and having a little bit of water retention, So if we're in a 2 to 5 pound fluctuation, that is totally fine and considered maintenance in my eyes. By the end of reverse diet, you should improve or eliminate all of those those negative dieting symptoms that I talked about before, like low energy, brain fog. Obviously, some of these things are going to happen because that's just humanity. You're not going to feel 100% amazing every single day, but for the most part, these symptoms should, for the large majority of the days of your month, you should feel a lot better. Also, getting to a sustainable place with your cardio and food. I haven't even really talked about like the cardio side of things, but a lot of times people are putting themselves into a calorie deficit with cardio and they're doing a ton of cardio to compensate that. So getting you to a sustainable place as far as like increasing food and lowering cardio is where I would love you to be at. Not completely eliminating cardio. We still like cardio. I still love my dance classes and stuff like that. But getting to a healthy, sustainable spot with cardio where you're not feeling like you have to do cardio to maintain your weight or to see the progress you want, that's not a fun place to be in. So if we can get you to a sustainable place, whatever that looks like for you, as far as cardio goes and as far as your food goes, that is the magic spot that you want to be at, because you're going to just have more longevity with your journey and feel so much better when you're actually at a place where you feel really aligned and good with how much cardio you're doing, how much you're eating. Another goal of this is to have more flexibility with your food choices and just like flexibility in general. So this could be like maybe doing intuitive weeks or weekends, or completely eating intuitively. Obviously, I like to call it more like mindful eating, but eating more mindfully, not tracking. This could look like incorporating more meals out or having just more flexibility overall with your food choices. So you should feel like you're not now like trying to undereat. You should just feel like the world is your oyster with food, and the world is your oyster with exercise, and it's something that adds to your life and makes you feel just very psychologically safe and aligned. And the ultimate end goal, especially for a lot of our clients, is to set you up for a future successful cut. So if you're right now still thinking, okay, I still want to lose some body fat, but I've done a reverse diet, great. That means you're set up for a successful cut, because if a client comes to us and they're already eating 1200 calories, the only way you can lose body fat is to go lower than 1200 calories. And that is not safe for you. That is not something we would ethically do. So what we would do is reverse diet you. So that way you're now, so let's say eating 2200 calories. Now you can diet at 1800 calories and lose body fat. Setting you up for a successful cut happens in the reverse diet. So let's kind of talk about a couple of like things as far as like what metabolic adaptation and how we like kind of calculate the reverse diet and how you do that. So metabolic adaptation, I kind of explained this a little bit before, but it's your body's way to protect itself from conserving energy and slowing weight loss. So when you do undereat for a long period of time, your body is going to metabolically adapt. This is a normal thing. This is something that happens. This is also something that happens when you are in a cut phase, even like with a coach with us, right? So let's say we start you out at 1800 calories, your body is going to adapt to that amount. And that's something that is normal and is going to happen. And after the cut, you would just do another reverse diet. It's not permanent. It's not something that your metabolism is damaged forever. You need to do some crazy thing like it's going to be corrected through a reverse diet. And then when I say TDEE, that's total daily energy expenditure. So that's how much you are burning on a day-to-day basis. I also kind of referred to this a little bit throughout this podcast about like talking about maintenance. So this is where we kind of calculate like where you should be as far as calories go. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit like ambiguous of, okay, it's not going to be an exact number, but having kind of a range or estimate of like, okay, where should you be at as far as calories go would be your total daily energy expenditure. So an interesting thing about this that I kind of love to talk about is that your body at complete rest is burning the large majority of calories. So if I just sat in this chair all day and didn't talk, didn't move, just sat here like a statue, that would be 70% of my calories burned just by digestion, by breathing. Your body burns a lot of calories at rest. So that being said, your exercise calories make up a very small amount, usually like 5 to 10% of your calorie burn per day. And then actually eating food represents about 10% of how many calories you're burning a day. And then your non-exercise activity is going to be around 15% of the calories you burn day to day. So when I'm bringing all of this up because, when you're at maintenance calories, all of those things are happening. It's not just about like how many calories you're burning in a workout. It all works together, and we have to make sure that we are doing the proper amount of food and stuff like that to allocate for all of those things. So now let's talk about when you should implement a reverse diet. So I've kind of talked already a little bit about a couple of the scenarios, but number one scenario is after a cut or deficit, you will want to reverse diet to maintain your results. So if you've been in a fat loss phase and you've successfully completed it and you're done, or maybe you're not successfully completing it and you're like, hey, I need to get back to just normal life and I just want to eat a regular amount of calories, you will have to reverse diet to maintain your results. Because if you think about it, your metabolism has probably down-regulated a little bit. So you will need to reverse diet if you want to maintain those results and not put on the body fat that you just worked so hard to get off, right? Another scenario is that it's at the very beginning of your fitness journey. Like me, if you've been under eating unintentionally or intentionally, you will need to reverse diet to get you to a point where then you can have a successful cut or just be able to eat more food. You don't even need to do a cut. Like that's definitely an option as well. Whenever you spend a prolonged time in a calorie deficit, you need to reverse diet in order to not put on a ton of body fat and to restore your metabolism. That is the main rule of thumb. So I've been talking a lot about like the precursors of reverse diet and why to do it and whatever. Now let's talk about how to reverse diet. So first off, this will kind of tie into when I was talking about TDEE and all of that stuff. Find out how many calories you are currently eating and what your estimated maintenance calories are. If you go on tdee.net, I believe, you can calculate like what you should be maintaining. Most women maintain around 1900 to 2500 calories. So see how many calories you should be eating. And then what I like to do and what we have all of our clients do is start tracking your food. See what you're eating on a weekly basis and average all those numbers out. If you are below what your estimated TDEE is, you probably need a reverse diet. More times than not, women come to us and they do need a reverse diet because they realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I'm only eating 1,700 calories, or maybe I'm only eating dinner every day, or I'm way under eating. I'm supposed to be eating 2,500 and I'm literally at 1,600, right? So I would do that little quick assessment on yourself. This is something that we do with all of our clients, because if you're not taking into account what your start point is, you're not going to see the results you want. And that's where I see a lot of macro calculators and calorie calculators go wrong when they just say, hey, I just want to see what my deficit is that they don't take into account, like, if you're already under eating, that's not going to be a deficit for you. That's going to be just maybe maintenance for you, right? So I would assess and see, okay, where am I at? Am I under eating? That's a really good place to start. And then how we do a reverse diet is by increasing your calories. I like to go every like couple of weeks, like 50 to 100 calories, depending. And you want to make sure that you're 80 to 90% consistent with this, right? When you're reverse dieting, you want to give your metabolism like a real fair chance of actually adjusting. And in order to do that, you have to be consistent with these calories. You have to be consistent with eating this amount because it's strategic. We are trying to get you to a point where you're maintaining. And then once you're at maintenance, you can be a little more loosey goosey, a little more flexible. But for now, in a reverse diet, I really like to be more consistent than not because you'll be able to reverse diet quicker and you'll be able to reverse a lot of these symptoms a lot faster if you are more consistent. And then when you're choosing to make these adjustments or not, what I would do is monitor your biofeedback. How are you feeling as far as energy goes, digestion goes, hunger goes, right? All of those things. If you're not on a scale, like I would do like a scale of 1 to 5, see how everything is going. I would also take into account weigh-ins. I wouldn't make them like the end all be all, but if you're like your weight is going up, 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 that's probably a reason to kind of slow down that reverse dieting process. But look at your progress photos. If your progress photos are looking great or they're looking the same or they're looking better, awesome. Increase your food, right? And keep doing that until you get to your estimated maintenance or around that amount. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect. That's where kind of having that expert guidance of like having a coach or someone to have that kind of like unbiased opinion of being able to actually like see, okay, where is that perfect maintenance level? Because it might be above that, it might be a little bit below that. That's very normal. But that's when I would kind of make adjustments is based on time. So make sure, every couple of weeks doing this. This is a slow but sure process. And then monitoring how you are feeling and how your body is responding as well in progress photos and in weigh-ins. So I will say that this is probably the scariest part when it comes to women, especially when they do it on their own, because when you're eating more food, I think so many thoughts go through your brain of, am I gaining body fat? Do I look worse? Why am I the scale going up? Right? Like I remember all those thoughts went through my brain. And one thing that really helped me was having a voice of reason of my coach saying, hey, I know the scale went up 2 pounds, but that's not body fat. We are on the right track. We are, doing the right thing. And that like just affirmation just really, really helped on knowing like, okay, I'm doing the right thing and knowing the end goal of like, you're going to at some point be able to eat 2,200 calories, have a healthy relationship with food, be able to then lose body fat at 1,800 calories. Like all of that is so amazing. And if you don't get to that point, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a rainbow after the storm, okay? And in the reverse diet, just think about how cool it is that your metabolism, you're giving it the chance to adjust. You're seeing these new things happen week after week. I guarantee every single week you do a reverse diet, you will find something new out about yourself. Like, wow, I didn't realize I was feeling so low energy, or now I don't need that third cup of coffee today. Like those things are so amazing. So just know food is not the enemy. It is the answer to achieving your goals. And if you've been under eating for a long period of time, you can either keep doing what you're doing and under eating and feeling awful, or you can make a change and get yourself to a point where you can give your body and your hormones a chance to actually heal themselves and to be able to make the progress that you want and actually have the quality of life you want as well. Because ultimately, even if you are eating 800 calories and losing weight, great. But it's not about losing the weight, it's about keeping it off long term. And without a healthy metabolism, without a healthy relationship with food, that cycle is going to just be something that you're stuck in forever of losing the weight, gaining it back, losing the weight, gaining it back, because we're not actually giving your metabolism a fighting chance to be able to lose the weight and keep it off for good. And, reverse dieting is a tool. It allows us to eat more. It allows us to achieve your goals, to feel like the best version of yourself. And this is not a sales pitch for reverse dieting, but if you're finding yourself in that cycle or like kind of relating to anything I'm saying today, just know that there is a way out. And I am just so grateful, like in my life, that I found reverse dieting. I will say that reverse dieting truly changed my life, changed my relationship with food. It changed my body, my physique, my energy levels, and just made me an overall better person. And I don't regret a reverse diet at all. And I guarantee if you talk to a lot of our clients as well, they'll say, hey, reverse diet was the best thing I ever did. So hopefully you all found value in this podcast. I know that it was a lot of information. So if you have any questions, my DMs are open. Feel free to DM me. I also have that reverse dieting assessment link in the description. So if you want to have a little bit more in-depth look on whether or not you need a reverse diet, I highly recommend you check that out because it'll give you a little bit more of like an inside peek of like, okay, like do you need a reverse diet, right? Because I know it can be like, well, maybe I think I need one. I don't really know. And that is where I'll help you out with that. But that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure to like this. I'm like, do we like podcasts? I don't know. Comment on this, leave me a review, share it, subscribe, all of those things. And or maybe me and Cassie will be seeing you for next week's episode.